Are you feeling a bit lost trying to set up your folder structure for a React and Django REST project? You're not alone. Many developers face this challenge when transitioning to a modern tech stack. Today, we're going to clarify the best practices for organizing your files. I totally get it. Refactoring a traditional Django web app to incorporate React can be overwhelming, especially if you're more comfortable with Django. It's a common concern, and you're in the right place to find some clarity. So, here's the specific question we're addressing. One user asked about the best practices for folder structure when using both Django and React. They shared two ideas: putting all React files in their own folder or placing them in the static folder. Let's explore these options together. Understanding the folder structure is crucial for maintaining a clean and efficient code base. A well-organized project not only helps you, but also makes it easier for others to collaborate with you. Let's break down the options and see what works best. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a pro tip that can save you time and headaches when managing your project structure. To establish a clear folder structure for a React and Django REST project, the user should start by creating a dedicated folder for the React application. This helps in keeping the front end and back end organized. Next, the user should place the Django application files in a separate folder. This separation allows for easier management of both the back end and front end code. The user can then create a static folder within the Django project to serve the built React files. This is where the production-ready React app will reside after building. Finally, the user should ensure that the Django settings are configured to serve the React app correctly. This includes setting up the static file settings in Django. Fun fact: did you know that the first web applications were built using just HTML and JavaScript? We've come a long way since then, and organizing our projects is more important than ever. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggests separating your projects for the back end and front end. For building a REST API with Django, it's recommended to use the Django REST framework, which has a helpful tutorial on its website. For the React application, the user recommends starting with Create React App, which is the standard method today. They also advise following a guide on proxying API requests during development to connect your React app with your Django API. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. This user suggests keeping the front end and back end as separate projects. They emphasize that the front end, built with React, will make API calls to the Django backend. For better performance in production, it's important to minify the React code into JavaScript and CSS. For the backend, they recommend using Django REST framework. For the front end, they offer two options. Use DVA if you plan to implement Redux, but only if your state management needs are complex. Otherwise, they suggest using Create React App for a simpler setup. Additionally, they recommend using Ant Design for the front end if you want a material design-based application. Ant Design provides a wide range of UI elements and has been tested in multiple applications. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. An alternative approach suggests using a single repository for both Django and React, especially for smaller projects. The user recommends creating a separate folder for the React app, typically named project name-client. If you're using Create React App, you can serve the index.html from the build folder by adjusting your Django settings. The user is also developing a Django project template that integrates with Create React App, which can be found on GitHub. Here's the pro tip I promised. Always keep your React and Django files organized in separate folders. This not only helps you maintain clarity, but also makes it easier for others to understand your project structure. And there you have it. By following these best practices for folder structure, you'll set yourself up for success in your React and Django REST project. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks.